I think it's very possible to say that hell may have actually frozen over. Activision has finally let up on the massive press that they have had on the Call of Duty community just under their thumb for the last 6 years in regards to having very strict skill-based matchmaking in Call of Duty. The community collectively has been begging for the last 6 years, please, for the love of God, just give us the classic matchmaking that we experienced back in the day, where it is based on ping. Ping is king. Give us the opportunity to match up with whoever we match up with based off of the best connection. We don't want to be playing against the same exact players every single match because it gets extremely tiring. And plus, it limits the opportunity for you to have those really crazy games where you pop off and have a blast of a time. With that being said, in the Black Ops 7 beta, it's no secret, it's no surprise at this point that the excitement for the new Call of Duty is just not there. People are not excited whatsoever. Black Ops 6, I feel like, burned quite a lot of people, myself included. I was extremely excited for Black Ops 6, and then once the game got here, you had Tac Sprint. The maps were honestly pretty dog shit, and overall, the way that they implemented Black Ops 6 was just not good, especially for fans of the older Black Ops games like myself. So with that being said, I dropped the game about a month into it, and I never really went back at all. I didn't play any Call of Duty last year after that point. But with Black Ops 7, the beta, I have been playing. I've been paying attention to the information leading up to release, and frankly, I haven't been particularly excited. Not because I didn't think that the game looked interesting. I actually thought that Black Ops 7 looked better than Black Ops 6. It looked like some things that they were doing with the game were in the better direction of what I would be interested in. And one of the big things for that is the removal of Tac Sprint effectively, right? There's technically a perk, but I haven't seen a single person run it, which is honestly awesome. And, you know, they've done some things like increasing the colors so it actually looks good, and the maps have looked interesting. So I've been casually paying attention to Black Ops 7 up to the beta, but I wouldn't say that I was excited. With that being said, I did watch my hour of the COD Next so I could get the beta code, and I jumped into the beta on the first day when everything was just as normal. It was the way that we've expected Call of Duty to perform for the last 6 years in terms of matchmaking, which has always been the number one thing that has pushed me away from the game, has been the skill-based matchmaking. I played the game, and I actually thought it was quite fun. The guns are really interesting. I like them so far. The Peacekeeper's a blast to use. I've enjoyed the gameplay, and on top of that, the maps have actually been fantastic. So this is the first day or two, I believe, of the beta. I was actually thinking, man, this is actually not that bad. But the thing that was 100% on my mind was, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to play this for longer than a month because of the skill-based matchmaking. It was already crazy. I mean, the very first day of the closed access or the early access of the beta, it's always the people that are the most interested, the most tapped in, which are typically going to be the better overall players, right? And it was a sweat fest. As you would expect, it was an absolute sweat fest on the first day. So I had my gripes. I was like, man, like the game is actually fun. The maps are actually interesting. I really like the music. They're really trying to tap into that old school Black Ops 2 style, and Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is my favorite Call of Duty of all time. And I'm really excited, right? Like I really love Black Ops 2. So like they're kind of putting some things in the game that had me interested. But it was the SBMM. The SBMM was going to turn me off. It just was. I know this for a fact. It was going to turn me off. I haven't played longer than a few months of all of the recent Call of Duties going back to Modern Warfare 2 2022. That's just facts. But then, out of nowhere, Treyarch decides to send out a tweet saying, hey y'all, let's try something new. Or something old. Let's put in an open moshpit playlist into the Black Ops 7 beta that utilizes the classic reduced SBMM matchmaking system that you know from the old Call of Duties, which from what I understand is pre-MW19. There was a period of time where I stopped playing Call of Duty and I didn't start playing again until MW2 2022. So there was a collection of like 4 or 5 years where I didn't really play Call of Duty. So I didn't experience the beginnings of the SBMM in Call of Duty. So I kind of went from like the golden era to jumping into where the SBMM was. With all that being said, they said, we're going to put in this playlist, give it a try. We want to see what you guys think. This is all about being open with the community during the beta. And on top of that, they have implemented a bunch of other changes that we have been asking for, like reducing the amount of the doors that are automatic on the map and some weapon updates and just various things. They've been doing a really good job with that. But again, they unprompted, I mean, they've been prompted all the time, let's be honest here, but nobody thought that they would do this, is what I'm trying to say. Nobody thought that Activision, Call of Duty, Treyarch would be like, all right, let's give it a try. Let's throw it out there. Let's see what you guys think. Well, they did. They put it out there. They opened up the open mosh pit playlist, and holy shit, brother. Dude. Man, I'll tell you what, the gaslighting that has been happening to me for the last several years now, making me think that I'm not as good at the game as I thought I was. Oh my God, man. The wash of relief that has come over me has been tremendous. Because if you guys don't know, I was big into X-Defiant. When X-Defiant came out, I put 50 or 60 hours into that game. I played it a ton. And really in a short period of time, actually. I played a lot of it in a short period of time because the game was not out for that long, unfortunately. But that game did not have skill-based matchmaking, and I loved it because of the fact that it, depending on the game, it could go one way or another. Like, it wasn't the same thing every single match. And I was very good at X-Defiant. I consistently had, you know, anywhere from a 1.5 to a 4 KD, like on basically every single match. I was always doing well, and it was super fun, and I didn't have to sweat. If I wanted to sweat, I could, and I could go crazy, but I didn't have to, and I could enjoy myself. It was a great time. And my God, did I forget that you could have that feeling in Call of Duty. Holy cow, man. So with that being said, I have spent a considerable amount of time playing in the open mosh pit here in the Black Ops 7 beta, and let me tell you right now, the absolute difference that has been made in my experience is completely, it is absolutely astronomical. It is a complete night and day difference. Now, I did play the open mosh pit playlist prior to the beta going open, so it was still during the early access period, and I would say generally, you know, it was definitely better. There's not even a question. It was definitely better because it was opened. It was a classic matchmaking, so there still was some variety in who you were getting matched up with, but it was a little, you know, it wasn't insane, right? It wasn't insane. You weren't getting complete bot lobbies every 3 seconds, you know, because again, the overall population of players were people that were more tapped in, right? It wasn't all of the casual people. But now that the game has been open and there's been a larger variety of gamers that have jumped into the open beta, now we've seen the true experience, the true classic matchmaking, no SBMM or reduced SBMM experience in Black Ops 7. And dude, listen, I went from, I'm not even kidding, I went from, in the most recent Call of Duties, usually struggling to have about a 1.2 KD, always sweating, you know, barely able to get any sort of streaks, only being able to maybe get my UAV all the time. You know what I mean? Like just always having to struggle bus unless I really wanted to get crazy and focus and really practice all the time. I went from doing that on Black Ops 6, Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2 to, bro, I'm dropping 40s, 50s, 60 bombs here on the Black Ops 7 beta. I have had several games where I'm going 69 and 16 was one of them that I remember. I've had multiple games getting 50, multiple games getting 40. I've been dropping wraps or the HKDs left and right. I have never, and I truly mean this, I have never actually experienced this type of gameplay in Call of Duty in my life. Because when I first played Call of Duty, that was all the way back in Call of Duty Black Ops 2. I was 13 years old, I believe, at the time, or 14 technically. I was 14 during the majority of the Black Ops 2 life cycle, because that was in 2013. So I was 14 years old. I was brand new to Call of Duty at that point. I had been a previous Halo aficionado, and I swore off Call of Duty, but then Black Ops 2 came out, and I gave it a shot, and I absolutely loved it. But I was still brand new to Call of Duty, and I was ass. You know what I mean? Like I was just a kid having a good time, but I was not good at the game by any means. So I was playing on my, you know, horrible TV on the Xbox 360. Like there was no good skill coming out of me. So I've never been a quote unquote good Call of Duty player in terms of being able to get long streaks, high kill games. I've never been able to do that because when I played back in the day, I was bad. And then over the years, as I've gotten older and better at games, Call of Duty went into the strict skill-based matchmaking. So I was never able to experience what it was like to actually get those high kill games because the strict SBMM had me locked up against other players that were also pretty damn decent. But now in the Black Ops 7 open beta, holy shit, man, it feels amazing. It feels so freaking good. Now, let me just take a second before you start cramming your comments there in the comment section talking about how I only want to slam on noobs. Listen, bro, you know how many times I have sat through games where I've been getting destroyed by the other team who are dropping wraps, they're dropping VTOLs, and I'm getting wrecked by them? Listen, dude, that's the experience of the classic matchmaking system. One game, you could be the one frying, and the next game, you're in the pan. Like, that's just how it works, but that's what makes it so good because you get to have the variety. You get to have the what if. Oh man, is this match gonna be the one where I go crazy? Is this match gonna be the one where I get good good teammates or lesser skilled opponents? Like, that's what makes it exciting and varied. And that's exactly what has been happening to me. In fact, to give you very specific data, this match that you're watching right here, this is actually probably, I would say, my best performance overall just throughout. I went 45 and 10, I believe I did. And I had a 27 kill streak, that's including my streaks, where I got double wraps. So 2 HKDs in the same life. And that was the first time that I had ever done that. I never looped high score streaks ever in my entire time playing Call of Duty. But the reason why that's such a big deal is that the previous match, the match that I played just before this one, I got absolutely destroyed. Well, I should say my team got absolutely destroyed. I still had a 2KD, but my team got absolutely wrecked. And one of the players that was on that team, in fact, the top player of that enemy team, when they destroyed me and they were getting their wraps and their high streaks, they are also on the enemy team of this match, which is another question that I have about disbanding lobbies and how they're matchmaking you, because this classic matchmaking, a whole other thing that I haven't even mentioned is that the matchmaking times are lightning fast. So I literally finished my previous game where my team got wrecked and I still got a 2KD. We immediately got thrown into this one, and I still had that top enemy player from the other team on the enemy team of this game. In this game, I'm the one that went off and went 45 and 10 with the double wraps. And you'll see at the very end of this game, this is crazy. We were losing the whole match. And then once I flicked it on, because I had like the beginning portion of the game, I was kind of struggling and I had to make some adjustments. Once I made those adjustments and I went on that 27 kill streak, we completely turned it around for the team and we won the match. I think it was like 200 to 197 or something like that. Absolutely crazy. And that is what the Call of Duty experience is supposed to be. The absolute insanity of, can you pull it out? What's going to happen this match? Oh, so you just got slammed by these guys the previous match? Well, if disbanding lobbies stop happening and they keep the non-disbanding lobbies, if that whole thing gets adjusted and we actually get to keep the lobbies that we're in, which I still don't understand how that happened in this match. But anyways, my point is, if they did that, that's the whole thing about Call of Duty, man. You get wrecked one game by these guys, you stay in the lobby, then you wreck them the next time, right? Oh, I can't contain myself about how excited I am about this experience. With all that being said, though, the question is, will Activision allow this to stay? Because here's the thing, man. They have now given the Call of Duty community a taste of what classic matchmaking in modern Call of Duty can be like. We have now gotten a taste. We've seen what it is like these last few days. And it has been the most fun, unequivocally, that I have had on Call of Duty since I was 14 years old playing Black Ops 2. And I mean that wholeheartedly. These last few days have been the greatest Call of Duty experience that I have had in a decade. I love what I'm doing. The Black Ops 7 game itself is actually really good, and the matchmaking backs it up, and I've been loving it. So Activision has given us this opportunity to experience what we've been begging for 6 years. The question is, will they allow us to maintain that experience once the game actually comes out? Now, we are all of us, we know why they're doing this. It's because Battlefield 6 is looking to be a freaking fantastic game, and they're putting on the pressure for Call of Duty Pre-orders seem to be really low. The beta numbers are not there at all for Black Ops 7. Overall sentiment for Call of Duty is not doing well. So Activision has essentially had their hand forced to make this move. Well, here's the thing, though. They've been forced to make that move, and now the community, who is very vocal, has got to experience what this is like. So here's the thing. If Battlefield 6 comes out, and it is in fact good, like everyone has experienced in the beta, and Activision's like, you know what? Actually, guys, we took some data, we kind of figured some stuff out, and honestly, man, like SBMM is kind of where it's at, you know? This whole classic matchmaking, it's not worth it. It's not going to be what you guys actually want. The data says otherwise. We're putting SBMM back in the game. Well, guess what? Now you've said that, all these people, they're dropping Call of Duty and they're going to Battlefield 6. I think that at this point, the numbers are actually going to support that statement. It's not hyperbole. It's actually something that is happening in real time right now. So I don't understand. I don't see how, from a business decision, it would make sense for Activision to give us this opportunity to play with the classic matchmaking, the reduced SBMM, have us absolutely love it, by the way, and then run it back and go back to the SBMM that they've been running us for the last 6 years. I just don't see how that makes sense. But pretty much everything that Activision has done doesn't make sense. So, you know, there you go. At this point, though, I've been rambling for forever. I just needed to sit down and have a conversation about my experience with the reduced SBMM or no SBMM, because it has been glorious. I have absolutely loved this Black Ops 7 beta. And here's the thing. I genuinely mean this. If they just decide that, like, you know what? This is the year. We're going to roll back our matchmaking system. We're going to go back to the classic matchmaking system. If Activision, Call of Duty, Treyarch, if they make that announcement that this game is going to launch with the reduced matchmaking as the core matchmaking functionality, we are in for one of the best Call of Duty years ever. And I mean that, man. I really, really do. And I couldn't be more freaking excited to play this game this year if that's the case. And what's awesome about that is not only would that be amazing, but we've also got Battlefield 6 that's going to be fantastic, bro. We are in for a good year of FPS games if things go the way that they could go. But let's also be honest here. Activision could turn around and be like, you know what? Actually, nah, we're not going to do it. Sucks to be you guys. All right, man, that's just my thoughts. I've been rambling for forever, but thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts about this whole no SBMM, SBMM thing here in the comments section. What has your experience been like here in the Black Ops 7 beta? Do you care? Is this enough? Is this going to bring you back if you've been turned off for the last several years? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will talk to you guys in the next one.